Yeah. I came up out the shadows with the pain that never settled. Had to wrestle with the demons in my chest like they were metal. Every step another lesson, every failure made me special. I was built inside a furnace, pressure cooked me in a level. At the level I ain't never seen before, but now I'm stepping like I'm in it. Had to move without a mender, had to hustle independent. All these nights I sacrificed, all these mornings reinvented. Woke up hungry, woke up stressed, but still I rose, stay relentless. Family on my back, I made a vow that I protect. Every tear my wife and cry became a sword inside my spirit. Every doubt I ever heard turned to fuel, now I'm fearless. I've been broke, I've been stuck, I've been praying for a clearing. Now I'm walking with the thunder in my chest, can you hear it? I ain't folding, I ain't stopping, I ain't bowing to the pressure. I'm the one that broke the cycle, I'm the one that learned the method. All this pain became a blueprint for the man you see progressing. I'm a product of the struggle, I'm the proof that God invested. Who he knows gon' change the message. Yeah. Grinding like I'm on a timer. Every move a new assignment. Never asked for hand-me-downs. I built the throne that I recline it. And came from moments with my pockets on E. Nobody checking on me, but I stay plotting heavy. Cooking game that wasn't free. Man, I gave more than I kept. That's the leader thing in me. I pour knowledge, feed the fan. Still remain a humble beast. I don't flex, I just work, I don't brag, I convert. All that trauma from the past, give me mileage for the turf. All that noise people talk, I'm too locked to get hurt. All that doubt just hit the filter, now I'm sharper with my work. And my daughter see the fight, see the grind, see the rise. I'm the father that I prayed for when I didn't have a God. I'm the man that I became through the nights I nearly died. But I never backed down, I adapted, then I thrived. Yeah. I've been running through the pain like a mission, like a vision, like a prophecy with discipline. I'm sculpted by the friction and the losses in the distance. Every dream I ever whispered became alive from my persistence. And the hunger in my stomach that was louder than resistance. I'm all resistance. I'm the quiet storm form. I'm the king they ignore. I'm the work ethic force. It's in a world full of noise. I'm the echo of the nights, and nobody heard my voice. Now they call me like scripture. Every time I make a choice, made for this car, for the grind and the shift. Built from the mud with a heart that don't quit. Still give game like a gift. Still serve when I live. Still thank God for the wins, cause I know what it is to be lost, to be broke, to be holding on hope, to be drowning in weight that could break grown folks. But I rose, staying close to the code that I wrote. Every setback was a lesson that refined my growth. Now I stand with the proof of the battles I survived. Every cut, every bruise was a badge of the clown. I ain't perfect, but I'm present and I'm built for the times. And I give cause I know what it's like, need in a sign. Success never made me forget where I'm from. I still wake like I'm starving with the fire in my lungs. I still grind like the rent ain't paid and the storm ain't done. I still move like battle just barely begun, but I'm still rising, still testing, still chosen, still investing, still humble, still aggressive, still thankful, still relentless. Yeah, this the story of a man who ain't fold under stress. It's the voice of the struggle turned into a weapon. Yeah. Witness. And I'm made for this. No question. Yeah. Yeah. I came up out the shadows with the pain that never settled. Had to wrestle with the demons in my chest like they were metal. Every step another lesson, every failure made me special. I was built inside a furnace, pressure cooked me in a level. At the level I ain't never seen before, but now I'm stepping like I'm in it. Had to move without a mender, had to hustle independent. All these nights I sacrificed, all these mornings reinvented. Woke up hungry, woke up stressed, but still I rose, stay relentless. Family on my back, I made a vow that I protect. Every tear my wife and cry became a sword inside my spirit. Every doubt I ever heard turned to fuel, now I'm fearless. I've been broke, I've been stuck, I've been praying for a clearing. Now I'm walking with the thunder in my chest, can you hear it? I ain't folding, I ain't stopping, I ain't bowing to the pressure. I'm the one that broke the cycle, I'm the one that learned the method. All this pain became a blueprint for the man you see progressing. I'm a product of the struggle, I'm the proof that God invested. Who he knows gon' change the message. Yeah. Grinding like I'm on a timer. Every move a new assignment. Never asked for hand-me-downs. I built a throne that I recline it, and came from moments with my pockets on E. Nobody checking on me, but I stay plotting heavy. Cooking game that wasn't free. Man, I gave more than I kept. That's the leader thing in me. I pour knowledge, feed the fan. Still remain a humble beast. I don't flex, I just work. I don't brag, I convert. All that trauma from the past, give me mileage for the turf. All that noise people talk, I'm too locked to get hurt. All that doubt just hit the filter, now I'm sharper with my work. And my daughter see the fight, see the grind, see the rise. I'm the father that I prayed for when I didn't have a God. I'm the man that I became through the nights I nearly died. But I never backed down, I adapted, then I thrived. Yeah, I've been running through the pain like a mission, like a vision, like a prophecy with discipline. I'm sculpted by the friction and the losses in the distance. Every dream I ever whispered came alive from my persistence, and the hunger in my stomach that was louder than resistance. I'm all resistance. I'm the quiet storm form. I'm the king they ignore. I'm the work ethic force. It's in a world full of noise. I'm the echo of the nights, and nobody heard my voice. Now they call me like scripture. Every time I make a choice, made for this car, for the grind and the shift. Built from the mud with a heart that don't quit. Still give game like a gift. They still serve when I live. Still thank God for the wins, cause I know what it is to be lost, to be broke, to be holding on hope, to be drowning in weight that could break grown folks. But I rose, they staying close to the code that I wrote. Every setback was a lesson that refined my growth. Now I stand with the proof of the battles I survived. Every cut, every bruise was a badge of the clown. I ain't perfect, but I'm present and I'm built for the times. And I give cause I know what it's like, need in a sign. Success never made me forget where I'm from. I still wake like I'm starving with the fire in my lungs. I still grind like the rent ain't paid and the storm ain't done. I still move like battle just barely begun, but I'm still rising, still testing, still chosen, still investing, still humble, still aggressive, still thankful, still relentless. Yeah, this the story of a man who ain't fold under stress. It's the voice of the struggle turned into a weapon. Yeah. And I'm made for this, and I'm made for this, and I'm made for this, and I'm made for this. No question. Yeah.
Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and you can see me. I think my mic was muted. Mic check 1 2 1 3. Need to get back to your channel. Been dormant for 3 years. Hey, it's there whenever you're ready, big dog. You move at your own pace. I can't believe that this channel, Sacrifice for Riches, is a year old. Well, it's not quite a year old. I think this is about to be a full year sometime in January, I want to say, right? That's crazy. From, I don't know, like 3 followers to almost 5K. So I appreciate everybody who's been rocking with me, supporting me on my journey as I help you along yours. It's just been an absolute just honor. Like, I'm super grateful for everything that's transpired, the people that I've connected with, all of you guys. Like, I got to know a lot of people through this community. Some of you have shared some stories. And as far as why you're in this, I know some of you, and I know some about your families. I mean, it's crazy. Like, the connections that I have through this community is just wild. So it's very humbling to I don't know, I mean, have a platform, to have people like just to lean on, because there's not a lot of like-minded individuals that's in our inner circles. Not all the time, you know. Some people are privy to those individuals, but you know, everybody's different. But it's nice to know that I got a group of people right here that's trying to do what I'm doing, if not already killing the game. So shout out to everybody here that's in KGU, Sacrifice for Riches. If you're from wherever you're from, man, I appreciate y'all being here, wanting to learn, willing to learn. Yeah, just not stagnant on growth, which is dope. I see you, Roll Life. I see you, William. I see you. Who else we got here? Rochella Queen. I see you. JC, I see you, big dog. I'm very appreciative of you starting this Discord. Been a blessing. Man, real life, there would be no Discord without you and everybody else. Like, it was never my intentions to start a Discord. Um, as everybody knows, that KGU is my home, right? But at the same time, like, I do things a little differently, right? I trade a little differently. I move at a different, I don't know, a different wavelength or something. But um, it's just whatever I'm talking about. Like, people push me to talk, to branch out and talk more publicly. Um, and here we are. It's just like a small breadcrumb turns into like a little snowball, and then it kind of rolls. And much love and support to the community, Crown Traders, KGU, or Keenan himself. Everybody's been very supportive. It's been, the space is incredible. So thank y'all so much. Today, just a quick heads up. I might seem a little out of it, a little distraught. It's because I spent some time in the hospital. I have a shoulder injury or whatever. So I'm kind of like medicated a little bit, and lacking sleep. But at the same time, like, I know how busy my weekend is because my week has been busy. So I wanted to make sure that I give some game when I could, which is right now. So we're going to get into it. So a couple things. One, we're going to talk about identifying supply and demand zones. Okay. But we're going to identify it actively, not just me just bringing up a chart and then just showing, like, making the zones. We're going to see if we can spot them by visually as the market is moving, right? That's what we're going to do, right? Then we're going to talk about entry and exit systems, okay? And building that framework around your trading, okay? There's essentials to this, essential components for your pre-trade setup. You need to figure out an entry criteria, right? And then we just need to know why we use a system, the importance of it, and what happens if you don't use a system. So we're going to talk about all that, and the steps that goes into identifying your entry and your exit systems, okay? Now, I will say that everything that I know, a lot of what I know on a foundational level is built into an app I created, right? And it's been in development for a while. Sacrifice4Riches has been piloting this for a little bit, and now I'm just introducing it right now to the KGU family. For those that are here in attendance, this is going to be real quick. I'm not pushing anything. I'm just introducing it to you so you're aware and you guys just know about it. Okay, so essentially, there's a daily check-in. Like, for me, everything is mindset and mental, right? Every book that I own, if I show you all my books, it's all about self-development, personal growth. I don't have any fictionals. I don't have any like fantasy story books or anything like that. I don't do it, right? So everything's been mindset. And then now that I'm in this market, the market has been like one of the toughest mental battles I've ever been in. And I served for 13 years in the military. I was a scout and a mortarman for 13 years. So, and I've been in some situations, rather it be training exercises or whatever effect. I didn't see combat, so I can't really speak on that. But they put you in some really crazy scenarios where it's insane, right? But anyway, despite all that, like, you have part of me baked into an app now, and what kind of helps fortify my mind in things that I know that I teach constantly, but now it's at your fingertips. So on this app, I'm not going to go into like a preview or anything. I'm just going to get through this screen and then show you where I'm getting my material from right now. Okay. So we got our daily mindset check-in. So do you have a written plan? Yes or no? You answer that. Are you trading on PC or mobile? Right. Today I was mobile all day. What was my mood? I was kind of in a meh mood because I got lack of sleep and I'm hurting pretty bad. Sleep quality, pretty poor for me right now. I'm sleeping uncomfortably at the moment. So then I'll put those notes in the system. Rather it's about my personal mental space as far as where I am, rather it's what's going on with the market, anything I can note right here. But I'm just going to do nothing, hit a save check-in, and then you get a dashboard of information, okay? So with AI, machine learning um, built into the system, it's pretty dope, okay? You have a trading coach, all this stuff. Um, and then I put a lot of my trades in here too. That would be under the rapid fire. Not gonna, like I said, I'm not diving into this, but I will send a link so you guys can access this if you so choose. But when KGU, just so you know, if you are receiving trades from me now, you're probably gonna get them in from here, right? And I'm not in my admin account, so you can't see what I'm wanting to show you. But um, anyway, I put a lot of those trades here, and now I do that so it's easy for me to have it structured, and I can paste it into the Discord. But either which way, within the Education Hub on this app, we're going over uh, entry and exit systems. Okay, right here, entry and exit systems. Okay, this is the breakdown of what's in my head. Only I'm going to teach it out loud, and then we're going to talk about how this ties into your supply demand. Okay, so I do want to just highlight a couple things on here. So the essential components right here is your pre-trade setup. So we're looking at market conditions, time frame, selections, risk tolerance, allocations on your capital, maximum number of trades per day. So like these are just your pre-trade setup. Okay, then you have your entry criteria. So what's your trend direction? Is that confirmed? There's your key level identification. Are you looking at support and resistance, supply and demand zones? What are you looking at, right? Volume momentum confirmation, risk reward ratio calculations, and position size determination. So this is kind of what we're going to cover. The complete entry system is here. So, and I know these, so I don't need to read you through, but step 1 is market context. Step 2 is technical setup, and step 3 is entry trigger, right? So in a quick grand scheme of things, so what's market context? So like what's the overall trend of the market, and what is it showing you for volatility, for price action, blah blah blah, right? Technical setups, what time frame do you plan on entering, or are you looking for, right? What time frames are you looking for proper entry? What momentum indicators, what candlestick patterns are you looking for? Things like that. Okay, so that's the technical. Then the entry trigger. So what's going to get you to press the button to buy in? Well, if price breaks this structure with bullish momentum, then I'm going to take it. If price breaks this structure and comes back to retest and I see strong support, then I'm going to take that, right? So, but it's also important to know what your risk is. You also need an exit strategy, and we're going to talk about stuff like that as well. Okay, on the app, you'll be able to quiz yourself and just check up from the neck up. Be brilliant at the basics. That's what this is all about. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll share with you the link to this app, and you are free to join it if you so choose. There is a free version, and the free version is pretty much the trade tracker. Okay, so you put your trades in here, right? And you can set it up for calls, puts, whatever your options, and then you can put your notes. You can put screenshots in here if you want a breakdown or whatnot. So I'm not going to go into it. So I just clicked on like a screenshot and it downloaded it so I can see what that play or that structure setup looked like, right? I have a confidence score on here, and a couple other things, right? Like I said, I'm not going too deep in here, but you get the point. I identify each line, like every trade. I know if it was a scalp, a swing, or a day trade, and if I failed to put something in here, I can just check the boxes and then do a mass change right here. Okay, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, right? This is your entry. You can do stocks, options, or futures. I'll say I'll go long on options. Here's my day. I'll do a day trade. I'll do a call, and then I can type in whatever I want. SPY. You can put the price entry in here, your strike price. If you don't know what something is, there's a question mark that kind of explains things. Entry price. If you're confused as far as what to put there, it tells you the decimal, not the whole dollar, right? So if your contract costs $125, you're going to put 1.25 because that's what one contract is, but it's times 100. So I get it, but you want to put the decimal in there. You got your stop loss. They got examples on here as far as what that looks like. And then you have like a nice confidence score too. Okay. And if you don't know what that means, then there's this too, a table that tells you, you know, how you should be reading your confidence score. But anyway, so that's where your material is going to be coming from though, for today. But I mean, all of this stuff is in my head and I just put it in an app so people can have access to it. So that being said, I'm gonna take a quick drink, replenish my drink, and we're gonna get right into the charts. Put a 1 in the chat if you're still with me. And before we get into it, let me know if you have any questions. Happy Friday, by the way. I have 18 hours of working in a dance studio or a dance competition for my kids tomorrow, and I'm not really looking forward to it. Hey, what's up, John? Thank you for letting me know that you're here. I don't think we have a lot of people in this training, which is kind of meh. Like, I want people to be here. So I'll send one more. I'm not going to tag everybody, but I am going to send a notice. I'm live training. No. Link and crown. Okay. Appreciate the time, fam. Happy Friday. Thanks for being here, Alex, for sure. Okay. About 9. Oh, about 9 people here. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. It's kind of weird because I typically get a lot more people, but maybe because it's Friday. I typically run these on Wednesdays, but it's been a busy week for your boy. So here we are. Okay. Here we are. All right. So I'm going to have the SPY up, right? And we're going to use the SPY because it's volatile. There's more volatility and it's a little easier to kind of identify the supply demand zone type situation. And then, so we're going to do the replay on this, and then we're going to go into the entry and exit. So whatever. So actually let's do the pre-check, right? So my pre-check, typically I would zoom out like to the day or an hour, and I'll identify just the overall trend of the market, right? I'm not going to go through the trading zones and stuff. I've already done that with you guys. That was done in the last trading. But even from here on the daily, I would typically identify where my key levels of demand and supply zones are. So like, for instance, right now, I can identify that this is a solid demand zone. Why? Is because it's a morning star at the bottom of a retracement, and then we have a bounce up. Let me see if I can zoom in. And I bounce up right with an imbalance. Okay. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that's all part of like another training. Okay. So I'm going to pretend like you guys have been here before while also trying to explain to some extent. So those that haven't, they are not 100% lost. So what I'm saying is that we have a level or a zone to which price is reacting where buyers are living, and it's been hard for sellers to push through it. Okay, so that's what this is. Okay, so and as you can tell, right, you can see here's where it started, a range, right, and then price tried to get through. We failed to confirm below, and we wicked back up. We came back, retest, got kicked out. Came back, retest, got kicked out, right? Didn't quite make it, wicked up, right? And now we're here again. We fell into this zone, and now we got kicked out. So there's a lot of aggressive buying here, which are signs that that once we hit a zone like this, it's time to move up, right? So, but anyway, let's go into the 15-minute. Okay, so as of right now, we've identified that we're technically trading sideways after a sustained uptrend, right? So now it kind of seems like we bowed out? Do we see that? So technical uptrend, up, 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 up. Looks like we broke this ascending line of support, right? We've come back to retest it, and then we got rejected, right? And now we're kind of stuck between this ascending line of previous support, now looking to be resistance, and this demand zone. So we have a break of structure, essentially, almost. Why I say almost is because we still have higher lows, right? We still have higher lows, and we just have our first lower high right here. Okay, our first lower high, higher high, and then we have a lower high, right? So anyway, so in reality, if I'm looking at this, this actually looks like a head and shoulders pattern, where we have our shoulder, we have our head, we have a shoulder, right? And now we are deciding if we're going to fall through, or are we coming back to retest this neckline of the shoulder, right? Of the head and shoulders pattern. So, which would be about 665.04. So something like that. And if we fail to break above that level, then that means that we're in this tight window as far as between demand and supply. Well, demand and the neckline of the what do you call it? The head and shoulders pattern. So, but this is rewound. So of course this might not even be relevant right now, but I just, based on what I'm seeing right now, this is for trading purposes. Okay. So anyway, pre-check, right? Identify my demand. I identified the direction of the market. I see where supply is, right? I can spot this as our nearest supply zone, right? And I can tag it appropriately. I have varying colors. Dark colors mean a dark red, and a darker blue means that it's a supply demand zone from a higher time frame. That's an hour plus, right? So I have my identifiers on my table. But I'm going to zoom into the 15, and we're going to see if we can identify our intraday supply demand zones, okay? So let's go ahead and we'll press play, and we're going to pause and then go, okay? So let's see if we can identify what's going on here. Right now, we're in a little bit of a downtrend where we're seeing lower lows, right? And then lower highs, right? So now we're either looking for a continuation or we're looking for a reversal signal, okay? Now we know that we zoomed out and we identified this as a strong demand zone, right? So we're going to press play and see what happens. As of right now, we don't have an entry on this position. We're looking for a sign. Right now, we wouldn't be shorting this because the move is already happening, right? And we know that this is where buyers live. So we need confirmation below this to be comfortable with going on shorts. So let's see if we're going to go short or if we're going to go long from here. What do y'all think? Do you think we're going to go up or we're going to go down? Put a 1 in the chat if you think we're going to go up and be bullish on this play. And put a 2 in the chat if you think we're going to fall through and be short on this play. Let's see. Got to put some Bob Barker music in here. Also, is my music playing? Let's turn up my music. Hopefully the music isn't too loud. Oh. Can I get some participation? Do I need to get amped up? All right, come on now. Miss Philly, thank you. John, thank you. Come on, y'all. Rochella Queen, I thank you. All right, so we got 2 for up and 1 for down so far. All right. Any more? I know we got more than 3 people here. Again, the instructions were put a 1 in the chat if you think we're going to be bullish. It's going to be a bullish move. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it's going to be a bearish move from where we are right now. Bullish, okay? 2, okay? Ooh, we're getting even. I'm going to be quiet. I missed that. I seen them. Up. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for up and 1, 2 for down. All right, I'll take it. Let's see what happens. All right. So, all right, a couple things. So we can identify a few things here. Let me bring up volume so we know what we're looking at. So we had the bearish momentum, and then now what do we see here in the volume? Volume is going down a little bit, so that says that sellers are getting exhausted, maybe, possibly. All right, we got a lot of people saying going up. Let's see. But do we get an indication that we're going to go up? All right, so we got a pop, right? We got a pop. But is this confirmation? Let's see. Right now, I don't see. I mean, you can zoom in here and you can say that you might want to treat this as demand, but I don't see it. I know this is demand here, but I'm looking for intraday demand that's clear cut, right? So right now, I don't really see it. Okay, see? All right, so a couple things that would cause me to pause. One, as we came into demand, we did get weaker with the candles, right? With the red candles. But green candle popped in, but it wasn't followed by another green candle, right? We're just chopping sideways. Then it looks like we're going to break up, but we have a strong top wick at the top of this green candle. So for me, that's a false signal of a breakout. And then they get you with the okie doke move, right? So there's no real confirmation above this zone quite yet. Instead, you're met with more selling pressure into this. Now, though, as we came in, we have a strong bar that's crossing back up, right? Outside of the demand zone. So in reality, I could be seeing this and looking at it as a potential intraday demand zone. Okay. My intradays are highlighted yellow with the outline yellow, and I'll pay attention and see if it's valid or not. All right, boom. So this candle right here kind of validated it for me. Okay. So I was validated with this demand zone because I have a demand zone. So it's pretty much like an indecision candle at the bottom of this like retracement. We're at the top of daily demand. And then we have a nice green solid bar that happened. And on top of that, I have what's called an imbalance from this candle to this candle. So this is a sign that we are bullish. So yes, this would warrant a call option for me, with my stop loss being well below the intraday demand if I'm day trading. Okay, so yes, now we're up. Okay, and not only are we up, this also acts now as a demand zone as well, potentially, because it's a hammer. But I'm not gonna look at this one so much though. What I do see is more potential for buy side imbalance with this gap. So that's just telling you that there's a lot of strength towards the upside with this move. Strong solid candles are occurring after a big pop out of a demand. So shout out to everybody who called the play to the upside. Okay, now if you guys ever miss a move like this, you don't need to be in a rush to hop in necessarily. Sometimes when this happens, price does come back to pick you up, right? And it happens probably more times than not. So the distance here, right, of this box, this region, this imbalance, pretty much everybody was buying the price at the ask, right? And they were pretty much ignoring like the bid. So pretty much this gap represents everybody that's left holding their bids. Like their bids are still there, right? They're pending. They didn't get filled, right? They got skipped over. People seen value in the ask and was willing to pay the premium for the stock versus paying, you know, the many, right? So now as price gets exhausted, right? Because you can tell that this is happening as the candlesticks are, the bodies are getting thinner, right? You're getting more top wicks, right? And then you start to see the sellers come in. These are all indications that you might have some exhaustion towards the upside and that we could be seeing a little bit of a retracement happening. It may not come all the way back down for it fill side imbalance, but this is just a sign, right? So pause right here. Yeah, let's just keep it going. So right here, you see what happened, right? We have a supply zone that got established, and this is on the 15-minute. We have a supply zone that established, and because it's a 15-minute, I'm intraday, right? So my intradays are yellow, right? And then it's followed by a sell side imbalance. Sell side imbalance. Now this is a trading zone for intraday trading. So as a day trader, this is a trading zone for you, okay? Your trading zone for the day would be the range between the top of this demand, intraday demand at 659.59, and let's mark it. And turn it yellow so we know. And then the top of this supply zone, which would be 662.71. This is your trading range. If you're day trading, trying to scalp or whatever, right? That's what this is. I'll get rid of anyway, this is your trading range. Does that make sense? Shout out to everybody that was right on the bull move. But when you're bullish, you have to realize when the move is over, right? And when we're intraday trading, right, we understand that this blue here is the 1 hour or the daily demand zone. Great. Well, if we are trading off of this, then we're looking for contracts that are, swing trade worthy. Technically, you want something that's 30 plus days out because this is a big zone and you plan on riding the wave. You need to give your play room to actually play out to the next supply zone on that same time frame. So a 30-day DTE would be preferable if you're playing the zone. But if you're scalping and day trading, then you identify your intraday demand and supply zones, okay? So we have identified that right now, and we're coming down to retest and pretty much pick up the bidders from the last buy. So let's press play, see what happens. All right, before we continue down, all right, let me ask you a question. We're gonna ask the same question. Do we put a 1 in the chat if we sell through demand, intraday demand? And put a 2 in the chat if, hold on, am I flipping it around? Okay, put a 1 in the chat if we're gonna be bouncing here and being bullish. Put a 2 in the chat if you think we're gonna sell off through demand. One in the chat if we're gonna continue to the upside. 2 in the chat if we're gonna continue down. Let me know. So I got 1 for down. We got 2 for down. Any more? 2 for shorting this position, like it's selling off, like through our demand, or 1, we're gonna bounce and we're gonna make a higher high. Participation. I'm not giving out no free participation trophies, all right? I'm sorry, but I will take it for what it is. All right, so let's see what happens. So we got 1 for bullish and a couple. Whoa. Okay, so boom, huge. So if you shorted that, you would have got smoked, right? And why would you have gotten smoked? Well, let's talk about it. So for 1, our trend was broken. We have a break of structure, BOS, or change of character, right? So we were in a downtrend momentarily, right? Then we broke that as we came into demand. We broke that. We came back, we retested, right? And got kicked out of this daily demand zone. Okay. Then we made a higher low, right? We changed our character. Low, higher low, right? So we got 2 at this point, 1 and 2. Okay. All right. That makes sense so far? So then we are not short on this for 2 reasons. One, because we know that this is a strong demand zone on the daily. 2, we've established another demand zone on the intraday. Okay. 3, right? We have reaction to the zones, right? Sellers failed to push through the demand zone once. They failed to push through twice. Actually, they formed a new demand zone. We came back. We have a buy side imbalance, which signals strength to the upside. We see some seller exhaustion, but we know that this happens when a stock starts to take off, right? Sometimes they get exhausted. Then what happens? Well, now we're coming back to, we're exhausted. So when you're exhausted from buying, you come and pick back up, you sell off, and you pick up where the other buyers are. There's a bunch of buyers sitting right here waiting with their hand out in the bid, right? The bid is just sitting here, right? So they came back and there was a bunch of bidders sitting right here and it took off like a rocket, right? So we didn't even come back down to retest demand. Okay, so this is a fill imbalance, right? So we had a balance established, and then we had a fill imbalance because we came back to pick those guys up. That's why it's important to not only draw your demand zones but also your imbalances. Now, we can break through an imbalance, the bottom of an imbalance box, but we also look at it like we would look at a demand zone. Do we confirm below this box, right? If we don't confirm below this box, then that means that it's a false breakdown, right? It's not a downside play is not validated, right? And even if we did close below this box, we still have to worry about the next demand zone where buyers are sitting. So we still wouldn't touch this on a short. We wouldn't touch a short here unless we fell below this demand zone potentially. And even so, buyers live in this range in general. So you're looking for buying opportunities as you come into demand. Okay, you're not looking for selling, right? So that's what happened, right? Buyers stepped in big time. Not only did they step in, you have bullish momentum through a supply zone, right? On the first leg up, you have a break through the supply, right? And then they brought you back down. So this is a false breakout, right? And then it came to retest the bottom of supply zone. Now, I want y'all to understand this. This often happens, right? If you get a big move, positive move through supply, it's likely that price retests the center of that zone or the base of that zone before it continues towards the upside. So you're looking for 3 different types of tests. One, either you're going to find support at the above the supply zone, or 2, you're looking for a strong support at the base of the supply zone, meaning sellers didn't kick the buyers out, right? You might have came back in the house, but buyers ran back through it again, right? So this is only a seller's game if sellers were able to kick the price out of the supply zone and price confirmed below. But obviously that failed. And when this wick occurs, this is a strong signal that we are likely to push out of this. So entry here will be a very, very small risk for you. Why? Because if you enter here and on calls, and let's say we continue down, your stop loss will be super tight, because you know that outside of this zone, if we get kicked out of this zone, it's going to be a hard time for buyers to buy back into it, right? So you look for these wicks to occur, right? Off of strength, off of previous strength. Then if you miss this boat, then you can catch bullish momentum through the supply zone. And kind of the same thing here. Your entry would be on the break if you see some bullish momentum, right? And then your stop loss would be if you fell back into the zone. You don't play no games here, right? Just cut your loss and it's fine. And if it decides to go back through, then get back in. But this is pretty tight for you for entry. And this thing just takes off. So we get our big move. We now have, well, this was an imbalance, but now this becomes a nice intraday demand again. So we have a new demand zone established for intraday. Okay. We have another supply zone established, another imbalance established, right? Right. The gap from here to here. So, but this is what we're looking for at this point. We have our supply zone that occurred. We've seen that we have a bullish move out of it. We're starting to see sellers get exhausted. We do have a buy side imbalance here, but likely if we don't bounce here, then we're probably going to come down to retest supply. But let's see what happens. But two things, right? Like we're looking for calls, but we're looking for it on retracement. Because as of right now, this looks like this very well could be a newly established supply zone. Okay. But we have to wait and see how this bar closes. All right, boom. So get rid of that imbalance because it was pretty much ignored. And then, so price, we have our supply zone that got established. We have a new range for an imbalance on the sell side. So now we have supply zone and sell side imbalance. And then we have another sell side imbalance. And that came down to our supply, our initial imbalance, buy side imbalance. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this one here. Okay. So this is telling you now we have sellers, we have buyers, but when you see lower highs, right, and now higher highs, your demand zones are increasing. So remember, we drew this one up. So we're probably going to come and retest this and then bounce up again. Let's see what happens. I'm going to get rid of this imbalance. Paused. All right. So I paused it. Why? Because we're getting reaction at where I established demand, right? So off of this big pump, I identified this as a demand zone. And sure enough, price came back down and we're having some strong reactions to this zone, right? We're having strong reactions. Sellers are pushing through and buyers aren't having it, right? That's what we're seeing. So when you see these wicks happening, you're buying into demand, right? We're buying into demand, right? So this was a nice buy the moment that we start to see the wick occur. It's best to get in calls on demand near the bottom of demand because your risk is lower. Why? Because the moment you break through demand, confirm below, then you're stopped out. But if you grab it up here the moment you touch, then you have a higher risk. Why? Because your true stop loss is outside of the demand zone. So that's why you scale in to demand if you are to do that. Okay. So you might consider one contract here. And then if you get like the price action candles that you're looking for towards the bottom, then you might load up on the rest of your move. So let's say you put 25% of your position here and then your 75% goes here and that's your position, right? That's kind of how you can look at it. So I'm going to get rid of this and then we're going to play it out, see what happens. So I'm pausing it. Why am I pausing it? Well, again, we have a new range of supply and demand for intraday trading, okay? Okay, we have a new range. I'm not going to quiz y'all again because it's taking too long, but just see what's going on here, okay? All right, so look. Now you have a tight window. You have 661 and 662. For me, on the SPY, with how quick it moves, you better be a scalper sniper, because this is too much volatility to play one end or the other, right? This is not fun, right? But they're being respected, right? We're coming in, got kicked out. We went to the top, we got kicked out, right? Where are we going? So then they pull an okie doke move and pull you all the way back to this demand zone. All the way to this demand zone, the first one that we got. Our original demand zone got hit. Okay. But I didn't delete it. And now the new demand zone is being respected. So you have these false moves. Understand that I'm on the 15-minute and that you're not seeing any confirmation on these breakdowns, right? So when you're watching this play, right, when you're watching this structure, you got bullish momentum that started, that broke a structure, right? That broke this trend. So we went from lower lows and lower highs to now higher highs and higher lows, right? We came down and we start to wick. So we have our strong sell-off candles, and then we start to experience more wick than body. This is letting you know that the sellers are exhausted. Even though we have a supply here, sellers are exhausted, right? We had demand that was established here off of this big move. We're reacting to it, right? We have supply that got established here, right? We're reacting to it, right? It's kind of tight. But then we're looking to see if we confirm below demand, and we don't, right? How do we know we don't? Because a candle doesn't close below it, right? Instead, we come and retest our daily demand zone and we wick out of it. This is a strong reaction that we're looking for more upside, right? More upside. So you also can notice that this is probably going to go on a rocket, because we are seeing an increase in volume, buying volume, okay? Bodies are getting bigger. Sat on sidelines today. Good for you, Rochella. It was probably a good idea. All right, so notice we have this tight range, and then we finally just broke. Okay? And now another demand zone established. It's crazy. So where am I getting at? I'm showing you that it's important for this zone sinking that I talk about, that you know how things transpire, but more importantly, why it's important for you to identify the type of trader you're going to be in that day. Because if you're sniping or a day trader, or let's say you're a day trader, yeah, but you have a swing trader's mindset, whatever, and you in your head know, like, man, this is going up. But if this starts to wick and do all this funny stuff for you, and you don't really know where supply demand is and yada yada yada, you're gonna just get sniped out of your position. It's moving so fast you won't be able to get any gains. So it's best when you're near like a daily demand or a weekly supply or anything, right? Like anything over an hour that's a demand or supply zone, you probably should shift to a swing trader's mindset and get a DTE that's more than a week old or a week out. Maybe you can get a shorter one. The shorter your DTE, the less time you have, right? The cheaper your contracts, and the higher your gains are potentially. However, right, if you know that it's going to take time for you to reach this zone, right, because you're playing from this zone to this zone, then you probably want to give yourself the grace of space and give yourself about a week or two at minimum to make this happen. So, but too often as traders, we get caught up in this intraday mess, okay? This intraday mess has us like this instead of being able to zoom out and see the bigger picture, okay? So, but let's play it out. So we already got to our next zone. Bullish momentum into it. Now notice we break into a supply zone, right? And we're finding support within the zone at the base of the supply zone, right? As of right now. Okay, so we're kicked out, but it's not confirmed out. Not yet. And boom, okay? So look. So you see this move, you want to go bullish. This, you would say, okay, well, where is my exit if I enter calls? You got bullish momentum through this, right? Then you find support within the supply zone, okay? Then they get you with the okie doke, right? They say, okay, well, now we're going to show you that we're selling off. Well, in reality, volume had decreased on that move, right? And two, you don't have a bar that's closing below this level. So you see this move, but you're waiting for the next bar to tell you the story. So the next bar tells you that sellers aren't in control. Buyers are. This is called an inside bar, okay? It's an inside bar. You can probably see it on my screen. At the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the inside bar. Right? There's a 70% chance. So it indicates consolidation or a pause in the trend or momentum. A pause, right? It's a pause in a trend. So we got our pause and then we resume business as usual, right? So trend is up. We have our pause because we have an inside bar, and then we take off, cutting right through supply, right? And now we've hit our target on a swing trade. Here's your 500% move. Congratulations, right? From $6.59 to $6.69, $10. That's a nice move, right? But we need to have that mindset of, are we swinging or are we day trading? Again, we get into a supply zone, we find support at the base of the supply zone. We're probably gonna have a false breakdown, right? And then before we pop up. Finding support within supply, which tells you that this is a passive zone, right? But this also tells you that you let the bulls in the house and you couldn't kick them out because they got in and they never left. Boom. All right. So I got to wrap it up, but you should know that this oftentimes happens. So after a rally into a supply zone, you'll start to see stuff like this. If you can identify supply and demand properly, you'll know that if you cut into supply, you aren't bullish on this until you confirm above the supply zone. And then this definitely gave you indication that this is not confirmed, right? Breakout, came back down. Breakout, got an indecision candle, right? This isn't a strong follow through. And then you have this candle to follow. So now this is an evening star formation, right? This just told you that an intraday supply zone was established at the top of a daily supply zone, which is a signal for a sell-off, because the moment you sell into a strong supply zone, you typically get kicked all the way out, and that's what happened. Now you play this all the way down to the demand zone, and then you wait for the retest again. Now you're waiting for a reversal candle to ride this back to the next wave. So let's see if we can get a reversal candle, a demand zone established here. So this could be seen as an intraday demand. Let's get rid of our old zones, okay? So this could be seen as an intraday demand zone, all right? With imbalance, depends on how this candle closes. I don't like how that closes. So this is invalidated, right? That demand zone is invalidated, okay? But we're at the bottom of a demand zone now, right? We will see false breakdowns here. Okay. So this is not an invalidated call option yet, right? So now we're looking, like I said, we're looking for reversal signals at the bottom of a demand zone so we can load up on calls. Can we see one, or does this sell off? Let's find out. Okay, pause. I'm going to go ahead and tag this bottom doji as a demand zone. A bottom doji at the bottom of a daily demand zone is a strong indicator of a potential reversal signal. So this is looking to me to be more like a morning star formation. And if I bring that chart back up, you probably can see it. Morning star, look at the top right hand corner where it says bullish, right? You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, and then let's go ahead and play it out and see if it plays that way. All right, so pause. One. So this demand zone is invalidated. The intraday is. This demand zone is not yet invalidated. Okay. Why? Well, the why is because this breaks through, but the next candle is like a spinning top where it's like an equal body and wick ratio. So we need a stronger close here to be bearish. Okay. But we do have potential supply, right? Supply, and we have sell side imbalance here. Sell side imbalance. Okay, so we have some things working against us, and then we also have a signal of increasing selling pressure. Okay, but when I see this candle, I see an equal amount of buyers and sellers in here because of the volume and how the body looks. Okay, so let's press play and see what happens. Got to remember, when we break through demand, a lot of times this acts like a Mario Kart that we wick back into it, and it's like a slingshot. Like, I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but that's what I look for after we break a demand zone like this. Do we sell off or do we rock it up? Because now we got to do the retest. We have to retest and get denied from going back into the zone. If price crosses this line of 654.43 on bullish momentum, for me, that's a signal that we're Mario Karting up into call options. So we might as well just load it up. If it crosses in, we're crossing in, and we got it. We got it. Do we sustain? It's not sustained. So we didn't hold. We're testing it again. We were denied. So now we have bullish momentum. Again, the reason why this isn't invalidated is because we have thinning candles on this selling on the selling side, right? So that means you have sell side exhaustion, and then we're still trying to pump into the long-term demand zone. We're not ignorant to the fact that we have intraday supply, right, that we have to deal with that's within our demand. This just tells me that this is more passive at this point until the bulls decide to step up and step in. This big green candle, strong contender, right? I don't like the top wick that happened once we entered demand. However, if we can establish the foundation, which it looks like we are, if we can get confirmation or support at the bottom of this demand zone, then we should be on the rocket. Already looking at this, what does your trend say? Okay, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low. Now we have a higher low, and now we have a higher high, right? So let's press play. Now they're okie doking. Pause. This is the games that they play, right? It shows that you're going to sell off, but you notice that there's more wick than body on the sell side, right? So that what does that tell you? Right? There's no confirmation. I see that this is supply zone. It looks like we're getting kicked out, but again, it's not a strong sell-off, right? This is not a sign that sellers are in control. There's a intraday supply zone within a daily demand zone, right? That's what's happening here. And sure enough, we finally got the push that we were looking for. We have established our low, our higher low. Now we're looking at this to see if this continues, right? So we get another higher low. We get demand established on intraday down here. And then we get the rocket ship back into our supply zone, or back into our demand zone. So when you see this signal, then it's a full steam ahead, right? It's time to load the boat on calls. The moment you've seen volume pick up as we entered the demand zone, that's what we're looking for. That's where patience comes in. Now this should just take off, right? If this zone is strong, then through it. Now it's living above demand. You see how we got out of demand and we never came back in? Is living above it. Pretty much buyers has the door shut for sellers right now. That's what it looks like. And all that is leading to a push up. So let's hurry this up. Let's go 3x. It's taking too long. Y'all see what's happening? Now we're back at our daily supply zone. But I'm keeping these levels here so you can see how price is reacting to the levels. Look how prices reacted, right? Now we need to break through this. We need to find support above this supply zone, which we did. This major one, we're coming back down to test this one. We did, right? And boom. It all played out. It all tells the story. Supply demand works, right? Supply demand works. But you have to be careful of the trickery, right? We have to be able to spot the price action that goes along with this. Okay? We have to understand that when we are approaching these zones, that these aren't concrete. However, we do have to pay attention of what's going on with price as we enter and exit these zones. Okay? Hopefully it all makes sense. Put a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. I know it's not foolproof. I mean, because it takes an eye, right? It takes some patience. Sometimes it happens quick. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, sometimes, you know, chop happens, right? Like this. Like you just can't time it. But all I know is that you buy in demand and you sell in supply, right? You buy in demand and you sell in supply. If I look at this supply zone, we sold off on one occasion. So 1 occasion, 2 occasion, 3 occasion, 4 occasion, right? And a quick dip here. And then for the demand zone, we bought out 1, 2, and then we never looked back, really. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it is. That's where it is. Now where the price is exactly, I got to get off here soon. We can look to the left and then see if there's anything here that would say, yeah, you're not going far, right? Where's the wall? Honestly, I don't love what I see. Not on the 15-minute. As far as like a clear indication of a zone. But I suppose all of this is just sideways chop. But this right here, this would have been a demand zone for this little leg, right? And now we would see what price is doing and how it reacts to this level, right? Which tells you passive zone. And now we need to break above 681.64. And if we can confirm above this, then we're more bullish. If we confirm below it, then we're bearish. Kicked out of it. Passive zones. Probably should get rid of the overnight hours. All right. So you get a confirmation candle right here for upside. Whew, then it came on back down. But see how it's reacting to the price, right? Tops and bottoms. But this is an intraday looking thing, right? I didn't find this on a 2-hour, 4-hour, or daily time frame. So I don't expect major reactions to something like this. I expect more of a passive behavior, but that's what you got. So that was definitely a passive zone, a neutral area. But that tells you that if you can confirm with bullish momentum above that, then you're solid. And that's kind of what's happening. SPY is tricky, y'all. SPY is tricky. So that's why to be a scalper with the SPY, it's the easiest way, I would say, is to look for the neutral positions and the breakouts. And we'll get into that another time. I've gone over neutral positions before. But I'm trying to see if I can find one. So you're looking for things like this. Okay, so like this right here is a symmetrical triangle, right? And now you're looking for a breakout here. So you need 3 points of contact, and then you have to live above the halfway point to be bullish, right? So then you would see here, and then you probably bump up and retest this high of 685, or you break down and you retest the low here at 682.15. A lot of times it'll ricochet here and then shoot through. I'm not sure what it's going to do right now, but let's see. It just lived longer. That's kind of what it did, though. It came down and retested this low, and then it shot through it. Horrible pattern, though. Horrible pattern. But that's just an example, all right? So I'm going to leave it at that and see what we got for questions. And I got to be on my merry way. Any questions, y'all? So the entry system, one, market context, right? On a higher time frame, where are we looking at? What's the direction of the trend? Are we priced for below moving averages? Are there market events that we need to know? How's the volatility looking, right? Step 2 would be like technical setup. So what's your entry time frame? Pullbacks on key levels, price and retests on support and resistance, supply demand, momentum indicators showing reversal signals, volume patterns. You're looking for things like that. And then you have your entry trigger. So what's going to cause you to actually execute the play? Well, reversal candlestick patterns, which we talked about, like morning star, evening star, engulfing bearish bars, bullish bars, right? Volume spikes, price breaks above trigger levels, above or below, right? Multiple indicators align with confirmation. So these are your triggers to enter the position, right? All those things kind of need to kind of come together in your brain to paint the picture of, not paint the picture, but to give you a probability bias in one direction or the other. Awesome, George. Thank you for letting me know. Thanks, Roll Life. I'm signed up in KGU. Love to see it. Okay, sounds good. All right. That's all I got. I got to get going. I got some Dan's dad stuff to do. And I will be back Sunday for Sacrifice4Riches community. We're going to do the SPY weekly review, and I'll see if I can host a class then. I'm dabbling into futures again. I'm doing pretty well. So I'm thinking that we should be able to start live trading that relatively soon as part of my live trading sessions. Live trading sessions are typically going to be Monday or Wednesday. I couldn't do it this week. I'm still like just sore and like my headspace is just not right. So I don't want to get on here and then steer people wrong and just not be of right mind making like financial decisions in front of everybody. It's already stressful enough. But I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all in the next one. The Stocks for Real, Sacrifice for Riches. If you did not download the app, download the app. There's a free version for everybody, okay? I'll put the link in here one more time. And let me know what y'all think. Give me some feedback, all right? I'm always making corrections. But I'll see y'all in the next one. All right, take care.
Yeah. I came up out the shadows with a pain that never settled. Had to wrestle with the demons in my chest like they were metal. Every step another lesson, every failure made me special. I was built inside a furnace, pressure cooked me in a level. At the level I ain't never seen before, but now I'm stepping like I'm in it. Had to move without a mentor, had to hustle independent. All these nights I sacrificed, all these mornings reinvented. Woke up hungry, woke up stressed, but still I rose, stay relentless. Family on my back, I made a vow that I protect. Every tear my wife and cry became a sword inside my spirit. Every doubt I ever heard turned to fuel, now I'm fearless. I've been broke, I've been stuck, I've been praying for a clearing. Now I'm walking with the thunder in my chest, can you hear it? I ain't folding, I ain't stopping, I ain't bowing to the pressure. I'm the one that broke the cycle, I'm the one that learned the method. All this pain became a blueprint for the man, you see progression. I'm a product of the struggle, I'm the proof that God invested. Who he knows gon' change the message. Yeah. Grinding like I'm on a timer. Every move a new assignment. Never asked for hand-me-downs. I built the throne that I recline it. And came from moments with my pockets on E. Nobody checking on me, but I stay plotting heavy. Cooking game that wasn't free. Man, I gave more than I kept. That's the leader thing in me. I pour knowledge, feed the fan. Still remain a humble beast. I don't flex, I just work, I don't brag, I convert. All that trauma from the past, give me mileage for the turf. All that noise people talk, I'm too locked to get hurt. All that doubt just hit the filter, now I'm sharper with my work. And my daughter see the fight, see the grind, see the rise. I'm the father that I prayed for when I didn't have a God. I'm the man that I became through the nights I nearly died. But I never backed down, I adapted, then I thrived. yeah. I've been running through the pain like a mission, like a vision, like a prophecy with discipline. I'm sculpted by the friction and the losses in the distance. Every dream I ever whispered came alive from my persistence, and the hunger in my stomach that was louder than resistance. I'm all resistance. I'm the quiet storm form. I'm the king they ignore. I'm the work ethic force. It's in a world full of noise. I'm the echo of the nights, and nobody heard my voice. Now they call me like scripture. Every time I make a choice, made for this car, for the grind and the shift. Built from the mud with a heart that don't quit. Still give game like a gift. They still serve when I live. Still thank God for the wins, cause I know what it is to be lost, to be broke, to be holding on hope, to be drowning in weight that could break grown folks. But I rose, they staying close to the code that I wrote. Every setback was a lesson that refined my growth. Now I stand with the proof of the battles I survived. Every cut, every bruise was a badge of the clown. I ain't perfect, but I'm present and I'm built for the times. And I give cause I know what it's like, needing a sign. Success never made me forget where I'm from. I still wake like I'm starving with the fire in my lungs. I still grind like the rent ain't paid and the storm ain't done. I still move like battle just barely begun, but I'm still rising, still testing, still chosen, still investing, still humble, still aggressive, still thankful, still relentless. Yeah, this the story of a man who ain't fold under stress. Since the voice of the struggle turned into a weapon. Yeah.